My name is Maria Joliker. Welcome to my show, Let's Talk About History. Governor Malloy is here at City Hall today. I hope you enjoy my show. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Norwich City Hall of Norwich. It's my honor to once again be here to introduce to you our governor, Governor Malloy. As you know, he's touring the state. He's reaching out to people on a one-on-one basis, and I think we owe him the level of respect that the governor deserves. I know we'll all be that way as we heard tonight and listen to him and in response to questions. It's not easy putting yourself out like this, so as the mayor of the city of Norwich, I'm very grateful that they reached out and wanted to come back to this city. And it's my honor right now to present to you Governor Malloy.
Nice to be with everybody. I want to do anything, do one thing first, I should say. In a private ceremony downstairs, I recognized the police department and police officer John Malloy, and I have an official statement that I'd like to read. On behalf of the state of Connecticut, I, Daniel P. Malloy, Governor, take great pleasure in honoring and recognizing Officer John Malloy for your courageous service as a member of the Norwich Police Department. Your dedication to the Norwich Police Department, the residents of the city of Norwich, and the state of Connecticut is commendable. Throughout your tenure, you have served with distinction and you have earned the respect of your fellow officers. For 14 years, you have been committed to a life of public service and to protecting your community as a police officer in the city of Norwich. You are respected by your colleagues and police brethren all around the state. Your actions while in the line of duty on January 7th, 2013 represent true heroism. We are proud to call you a fellow resident of the state of Connecticut. Thank you for your years of service. I wish the best for continued success with the Norwich Police Department and your service as a reservist in the Coast Guard. Therefore, I, Daniel P. Malloy, Governor of the state of Connecticut, do hereby officially convey honor and recognition upon you. For that, let me just cover a little quick round, and then I know we have some cards we'll call out. The handle is, I'm sure we'll get to 10 of those, and perhaps we'll get to more. I presented a budget on February 5th. That budget represents what we believe we need to continue to invest in, which is improvement in our educational system, pre-K. We had a ceremony downstairs, so I'll just keep talking. Good to see you guys. Thank you. Pre-K through graduate school. We also believe that we need to continue to make major investments in job creation and job growth in the state of Connecticut. Although we've created, since I became governor, over 22,000 private sector jobs, that's not enough. And we need to keep our foot on the pedal to create more jobs in the state of Connecticut. And then finally, work to find ways to give middle class tax relief from the burdens of government is another whole area that this budget attempts to address. I'm happy to take questions. I think what we set up, normally, I need to say this. Look, I've done, I think, 38 of these across the state in the last 2 years, and almost every one of those, I think all but one, the lieutenant governor has been with me. She couldn't be here tonight. She's been in Washington at a conference, and she doesn't get back to tomorrow. She has to be remembered to everybody, public official and citizen alike. So I guess, Aaron, you're going to call out the names. You are far from down.
Full room of people who are asking questions, and we'll make sure you just speak into the microphone so it picks up in the overflow room as well.
Okay. Hello.
Good evening, Governor.
Good evening.
Welcome. My concern is, again, the Second Amendment, gun rights. And I moved to this state because they had such freedoms. And I moved here 5 years ago, and I love them. However, right now I see that my Second Amendment is being curtailed. At least the concerns me. And I was wondering, do we have to have such stringent requirements on getting weapons and ammunition as well? You know, I see things being mentioned that they're going to control ammunition, the components of ammunition, as well as the guns. So I see that this is like a bit of an encroachment on our freedoms here, and now, where does it end? That's the beginning. Where does it end?
You know, let me, you know, how do you prove a statement that someone makes not to be the case? So I'm going to give you an example. Because people say, you know, if you have rules or laws and you change them, and one thing leads to confiscation. That's the argument. And you're kind of
And that's where I'm leading to.
So let me tell you this. Since 1993, we've had a requirement for a permit for a handgun. Has anyone tried to take, since 1993, someone's handgun away? The answer is no. It's not what we're doing. What we're saying is, you and I would agree that felony offenders shouldn't have guns. I think. If we don't agree, then you know.
No argument there.
Okay. You and I would agree that I would think that if there is an order of protection, that a judge should have the ability to confiscate a gun temporarily during the period of that order of protection, particularly in a domestic abuse or domestic situation, right?
No objection there.
So what we're saying here, and you know, we're happy to answer these things, is we want universal background checks. We want to make sure that people who are buying guns in our state, for that matter, in all 40 United States, are subject to some level of scrutiny, at least the level of scrutiny that I have to go through when I get on the plane. What we're saying is that we want to make things as safe as they possibly can be. A 30-round magazine, you might think is very safe. Some people don't think is as safe as others. But no one's saying that you can't have the weapons that you might have now. No one's trying to take away your weapon unless you fall into a group of people who shouldn't otherwise, and I don't presume you do. I don't mean that disrespect.
No, I understand.
Okay. So I mean, I hear you, but there's a difference of opinion on this. You know, someone is saying, well, that's not the Second Amendment. Well, if these rules that states have adopted aren't legal, right, then the courts will roll them back. But they've been upheld in California. They've been upheld in New York. They've been upheld in Connecticut to the extent that we already have these laws. So somebody has to, you can't adjudicate and make the final decision whether your rights are being violated. I can't make that decision. That's the role for the courts. But, you know, that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you. No offense, but I wouldn't hold California as a standard.
Up next is Jay Newman, followed by Maria Jill Kerr.
Hello.
Good evening, Governor. Good evening. Like you said, I'm Jay Newman. I'm from Griswold. I'm a founding member of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League, along with Mr. Scott Wilson, and Ira Meisenhammer beside him. Also a veteran, and I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the Second Amendment. Everyone's been talking about the Second Amendment for months now. But one thing that we hold dear, I think, in the CCDL is our state constitution. Section 1, Article 15 says that every citizen has a right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state, which is excellent. I'm very proud that that is in our Constitution. And I just want to say that I have 3 AR-15s on order with Stag Arms here in Connecticut to support Connecticut business. The reason I have 3 on order, besides I got a deal before the unfortunate thing at Sandy Hook happened, is that I wanted these rifles, so I have 3 small children, and I want to teach them to shoot eventually. And the AR-15, the M16 is what I was trained on in the military. It's a good rifle. And I want to teach them not only how to use the rifle, but also our American heritage. I want to teach them responsibility And what I see happening in this country and in our state is a war on the AR-15 and any weapon like it, or any rifle, any firearm like it. And when I look at the Second Amendment and also our state constitution, I wonder, this is my question for you, Governor.
Sure.
And I'd like to know what your opinion is as to why the framers, why the founders actually put that in the Constitution. And would it be consistent for us to ban something like the AR-15, which I think would give the state or the government a monopoly on force over the citizenry? And one other thing is, I know you said no confiscation. You know, you don't have to worry about confiscation, but I have 3 AR-15s, and if some of this legislation goes through, I can't give them to my children. And if you take the firearms from my children, you're taking them from me. And that's my concern.
So listen, I've told you, I support the language that's in our Constitution, state, and our nation. I think we have a disagreement, perhaps, whether that means that you can have any weapon you want. You know, we don't allow people to have certain weapons. There are limitations. Even the most conservative Supreme Court justices have recognized the right of government to limit, in certain circumstances, to pass certain laws. In our own state, we currently have a ban on selling of certain types of weapons. And that's never been successfully challenged in the courts. And the courts are the system that is charged with protecting state constitutional rights and national constitutional rights. That's whose job it is. You know, you and I can have a difference of opinion, but I can't stop you from going to court, or the organizations that you founded, or the organizations that support you from going to court. But I'm telling you that until 2004, we had a ban on assault-style weapons in this country, period. And we had a ban on the size of magazines, period. That was not successfully challenged. So, you know, I think states, as well as the national government, have an amount of leeway, which ultimately is determined by the courts. But, you know, I think citizens want universal background checks. They want limitations with respect to magazine size. They want limitation with respect to the types of weapons. You may not agree, and we may never agree on some of that. And I'm trying to be as respectful as, because I do respect your argument. This is not meant to be disrespectful. And you know, I hear you.
One thing on particularly Stag Arms and the other manufacturers we have here, I don't understand how you could say they're allowed to stay, and you support them staying also, but you would allow them to go to, or continue to produce them here and give them to other states. It's kind of like, to me, it's like a drug dealer saying, I'm going to make drugs in my own neighborhood, but I'm not going to sell them in my neighborhood, I'm going to sell them over there. If they're so dangerous that we can't have them here, why would it be okay with them?
Because if I said to you, well, I want them to leave, you'd say, well, you want to get rid of jobs. So, you know, you want to pose this as it's either everything or it's nothing.
I don't want to go at all.
And so all I'm saying is, listen, as long as they're making something that can be legally sold in the country, then they're welcome to stay. And I've sent them each a letter stating that. We've had meetings with the folks. We've had meetings with associations that represent the folks. And they'll have to make their own decisions about where they're going. But by the way, they've been courted time and time and time